We must choose between a world of fear and a world of progress. We cannot stand by and do nothing while dangers gather. We must stand up for our security and for the permanent rights and the hopes of mankind.
Resolution 1441 was not dealing with an innocent party. I believe that Iraq is now in further material breach of its obligations.
And we know that he has a long-standing relationship with various terrorist groups, including the Al-Qaeda organization.
This is Meet the Press with Tim Russert.
Our issues this Sunday: the president leaves this morning for a final summit meeting on Iraq. What does he hope to achieve? How close are we to war?
Journalist boot camp alongside the Army's real boot camp.
The opening stages of the disarmament of the Iraqi regime have begun. The President will address the nation at 10:15.
On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war. This will not be a campaign of half measures, and we will accept no outcome but victory.
Good morning. The war with Iraq is underway.
And we should report that Iraq has begun to strike back with missiles aimed at U.S. and British targets.
It also came this morning that loose lips sink ships.
In France, the National Assembly suspended its session.
Everyone was wearing a gas mask if they'd been issued one, and none of the gas masks are far from us right now.
But essentially what we're doing is we're rumbling along north in the general direction of Baghdad.
Earlier this evening, just a few hours ago, we heard what it seemed like a sustained...
giving me instructions, showing me the packs so that I could be some assistance to them.
We've been at this post at Incirlik Air Base for several weeks now. There have been about 50 planes.
I'm right on the border between Turkey and Iraq. I'm in the town of Salopi, and just to orient you...
Senior CENTCOM officials tell me that the air war is so far going as expected.
Certainly elements of the 101st are already moving. They crossed the border, we were told.
He may know as much as anyone about Iraq's weapons of mass destruction.
They fully expected to be engaged in some very serious fighting. They thought it would be going on even now.
It's been back and forth for 2 days. There have been casualties, but the news...
What's become of Saddam Hussein, but no one we've met believes that
daylight is just arriving. Israelis went to sleep.
Behind me this morning you can see the smoke from a big oil fire. That's the only oil well that was...
But the Iraqi army has set explosives throughout the massive oil fields of Kirkuk.
We're not in the field. We keep the monitor tuned to NBC or to MSNBC, but only 14 steps away, past our dining room on the left.
In another disturbing incident in Kuwait, one U.S. soldier was killed, 15 wounded in a grenade attack, allegedly by a member of the 101st Airborne on his own troops. The suspect is currently in custody.
It's a criminal investigation is ongoing, so I'm not going to say his name or the fact that he's a Muslim soldier, stuff like that, I don't think.
A British Tornado bomber was shot down overnight, not by the enemy, but apparently a U.S. Patriot missile in a case of friendly fire.
But as our troops fight, even in isolated areas, there will be casualties. My heart and the prayers of this coalition go out to the families of those who have already made the ultimate sacrifice. Because of the courage and the dedication of these heroes, the mission of Operation Iraqi Freedom will be achieved.
Where do you come from?
Texas.
A state television that broadcasts the pictures of prisoners, asking them questions in an effort to humiliate them, is in violation of the Geneva Convention.
And I want President Bush to get a good look at this. This is the only son I had. Only son.
There was a memorial service at Camp Pennsylvania in Kuwait along the Iraqi border.
It's clear that this war is no cakewalk.
Good morning. Sad news today from the front lines of Iraq. NBC's David Bloom, a husband and father, adventurous spirit, and our colleague, died overnight. We're going to miss him.
I came here to cover the war for Baghdad, and on the plane over, I thought about the moment when I would meet up again with David Bloom, how I would kid him about all the airtime and the praise he was getting. Then when I arrived, the awful, crushing news. It helps some that all of you have gotten to know him better in the last 2 weeks, to know what made all of us so proud, that in his generation, there simply was no one better.
We're under attack right now.
And this was a perfect assignment for David Bloom because as a reporter, he was a warrior, fearless, hard-charging, always eager for the next difficult assignment. He'd arrive on a story, and within 24 hours, he'd have a notepad full of the secret cell phone numbers of the best sources. When he made mistakes, he'd own up. No excuses. His love of his life, his wife Melanie, and their 3 darling daughters, was so exuberant, it was contagious. So this is hard. Our grief is great, because the whole is so large. So I'm going to give this, and it's also a reminder to all of us of what other families and friends in this war are enduring as well.
Coalition forces have conducted a successful rescue mission of a U.S. Army prisoner of war held captive in Iraq.
There's an American soldier who's being held in that hospital, and they're torturing her. Make sure the military authorities know that. Clearly, they did.
In some of the most intense ground fighting of the war, U.S. forces are encircling the city of Karbala, a main route to Baghdad.
Salam alaikum. How are you? Tuhib America. Do you love America? Do you like George Bush? Tuhib George Bush? Yes. Saddam Hussein? No. So that's what the feeling is. You're right here on the street.
Satisfaction, I guess it's almost over. But I get to go home soon.
What's it like being in the midst of Baghdad?
Kind of crazy. Pretty good warm welcome. Everybody kind of